When my only child was a toddler, our family went to Grand Teton National Park, something we did often. My husband is a photographer, and he knew a secret dirt road that took us deep into the woods behind Oxbow Bend and gave us a very nice view of the local wildlife. We parked the car, and my husband wandered off to photograph a bull moose that lived in the area, while I walked slowly behind him with my toddler in my arms. We walked along a small path with tall grass. On the right was the river, on the left, thick woods. Soon, the very large moose that was somewhere in front of me began to call to his girlfriend. This was unnerving. If you've never met a bull moose in person, they're huge and mean and will basically kill you anytime they want. A moment later, my husband suddenly arrived on the path ahead of me. He quickly moved to my side and quietly informed me that we had wandered into an area that was directly between the bull moose and his girlfriend. He suggested that my son and I go back to the car, but only if we could get there without the bull moose thinking that we had come to steal his girl. This made me very nervous. As I was walking back to the car, briskly, quietly, all the while checking in with the lovely female moose preening at the river's edge ahead of me and the grunting male moose flexing his muscles somewhere behind me, this was my thought process. If I run while holding my son with his big puffy one-piece snowsuit, I will run too slow, or I'll trip and smash him beneath me, and then the moose will kill us. Statistically speaking, running would not give my son the best chance of survival. Maybe we should get off the trail. The water, it's a bad place to be, and the woods are so thick I couldn't possibly get through them, especially with a toddler. Can I climb a tree with a kid, one-handed? What if I dropped the kid? Would he survive the fall? I mean, the snowsuit was pretty puffy. But then what? Do I leap on the back of the moose? I mean, that would distract him, maybe. Maybe I should stash the kid in a bush and lure the moose away with, what do you lure a moose away with? Seriously, in all of the books, all of the classes, the motherly advice, no one ever told me how to keep a moose that you accidentally sneak up on in the woods from pummeling your kid. I swear, if we get out of this, that is the parenting book I am going to write. We lived. It took hours to get back to the car. Okay, it took about 3 minutes, but it felt like an eternity. As I climbed into the back seat, I noticed that my son was completely oblivious to any danger. They usually are. He just loved his walk. I, on the other hand, was a mess. My heart was beating wildly. I was breathing hard. I was terrified. But at that moment, I wasn't terrified of the moose. At that moment, I realized for the first time since my child was born that I would not always be able to save him. I was willing to sacrifice my life, to stand in the path of a raging bull or a raging moose to prevent my kid from feeling pain, but in reality, I was helpless to stop it. How could I be a good mother? How could I save my kid from the horrors of junior high and dating and a teenage social life and the really hard stuff if I couldn't even keep him from getting pummeled by a moose? This was a blow for me. I haven't fully recovered from that discovery. My son is now 19, and while I've managed to keep him alive somehow, I most certainly have not kept him from the painful realities of life, no matter how hard I've tried. If I could write a letter to all the mothers in the world, it would go something like this. Dear moms, you can't always save them. There's nothing like motherhood to make you realize your weaknesses. There's nothing like motherhood to make you realize you are absolutely willing to leap on the back of an angry moose anytime if it means your child will be safe. But you can't always save them. It's okay. You are a warrior. You're a defender of childhood. You will sacrifice anything to give your child the best chance. But you can't always save them. And it's okay. It's okay. You are an amazing mother. love me.